Hey y'all, we're back and I'm literally happy to be back. Today, we're going to be talking about our men. We're going to be talking about men. All right. Remember I talked about getting into the peculiarities and specificities that have to do with both women and men, right? I'm starting that off by talking about the men. So what is a man? I mean, everybody sees one every year, but what is a man? Well, a man is simply the masculine variant of the humankind. The humankind has two variants, the man and the woman, male, female. And for those who might not understand what the word variant means, variants are a multiplicity of expressions of the same thing. That's what variants are. But in our case, a duplicity, because we're talking about the humankind, so it's just two of us, right? So male and female, man and woman. So in the class of the humankind, we're talking a duplicity of variety. That's the man and the woman. And this leads me to say that we are a variety of the same kind. This means that the man is not superior to a woman. No, we're two of the same thing, okay? So take, for example, an artist has two blank canvases and wants to tell one story. So on one of the canvases, he paints an expression, and on the other canvas, he paints a different or slightly different expression of the same story. So when you take a look at one of the canvases, it tells the exact story the artist is trying to tell, and on the other canvas, he also does the same work. So nowhere in our creation and nowhere in the existence of the humankind have the men been elevated above women in existence. No, we're just two different expressions of one idea. So we need each other. We're just doing the exact same thing, but as it is allocated to us. Okay, I hope I have that out of the way, that if there's any man out there that thinks because he's a man, right, because he has masculine features, he's superior to a woman somewhere, that's a lie. Okay, you have no right to think that. So simply put, you're one version of the two expressions that the humankind come in. So you're not him, you're you. I just want to put that out there. I'm here to talk strictly about men in connection to dating, relationships, and even the marriage context, right? So walk with me. So I'm going to start this off by highlighting some mindsets that men usually carry into, a relationship, a marriage commitment, or whatever it is, right? There are three mindsets that I've categorized. And the first one is, because I'm a man, I deserve a woman. The second one is, because I am a man, it's my responsibility to make any lady I'm with happy at all costs. Then the third one are the simple guys. I'm a man, I see a girl I like, I value her, I would love to spend the rest of my life with her and build a family with her. These are the three categories of, mindsets that I've seen men get into a marital context with. And now let me address these three mindsets. The first one is, because I'm a man, I deserve a woman. Well, no, you don't. You don't deserve a woman because you're a man. I just want to put it out there that no woman owes her existence to you because you're a man. Yeah, no woman is sitting out there, idly waiting to be used by you because you're a man. You don't deserve a woman because you're a man. Matter of fact, the only thing you deserve are the only things you came into this world with, and that's yourself, okay? So if you lay claim to anything in this world, let it be you. You don't deserve a woman because you exist. No woman, I would say that again, owes her existence to you. And to further explain why this is actually problematic, men who fall into this category often feel entitled to women's times, their attention, their bodies, and their effort. So the men under this category feel entitled to a woman in general and the things that come with her. To give you an even more troubling example, men like this actually look forward to a relationship, to have the women they're going to get in a relationship with relieve them of most of their responsibilities. I'm going to explain a few, right? One of them is, there are men who are waiting to get married today, or who are waiting to get in a relationship just so that they would never touch laundry in their lives again. There are men who are waiting to get married just so that they would never remember how a pot or a kitchen utensil works ever again. And although these scenarios seem like not so much of a big deal, what they're alluding to, what they're saying without saying, is that a woman is created for my pleasure and convenience. Now, I don't have a problem with, sharing the roles in the house, the woman taking on, okay, I'll do the laundry, the woman taking on the kitchen duties. I don't care for all of that. I could do all of that, thank God, right? And I hope everybody has the basic survival skills that are required to be a person. But what I have a problem with is that this man somewhere right now, may even be you watching me, is waiting for that girl to come into his life to take away his responsibilities. As much as, roles can be shared, I still have a problem with that mindset because I've seen men in these situations. Listen, guys, I'm in counseling. I listen to people, I hear people's struggles almost every day. There are women who have passed away because a man thought that she was created for his pleasure and convenience. So whenever he wanted to feel good about himself, he verbally abuses her into a dark place, crushes her soul to feel high and lifted up. He does all of this at the expense of her soul, at the expense of her mental and psychological well-being. Now, the narcissistic men you talk about, oh my God, he's a narcissist, he's a this, he's a that. Sir, this is the category they fall under. You see the narcissists? Yeah. This category of men are the men that produce the narcissists in the dating pool today, are the men that are the narcissists in some family structures today. Men who feel entitled to this and that from a woman. They feel entitled to the woman's entire existence. It's extremely problematic. They don't mind verbally or even physically abusing you to feel like they are, in control, in charge of your existence. They look forward to it like nothing else. And that's the little details that it starts from, right? That thought of, oh, let me just get married. I will never touch a laundry in my life. It sounds very innocent in the moment you're, conjuring up those thoughts and those meditations, but baby, it's leading somewhere. It's going to escalate really soon and you'll become a beast of a man. You literally would not know when you get into that zone because it starts from one thing into another and it keeps growing and growing and growing until you become this full-on beast, full-on narcissist, full-on abuser, full-on psychopath. So yeah, I'm addressing all the men in this category. If you feel ever entitled to a woman, if you feel you deserve a woman, you don't. Actually, it's the wrongest time to seek a relationship. Yeah, you're getting ready to do damage to somebody's daughter, and that's so horrible. So if you're under this category, remember the signs. The signs are when you look forward to somebody coming in and taking your basic responsibilities on because you feel you're of age and you're that guy. You're him. No, you're not. You're you, not him. Okay? So I just am giving you a thought-provoking moment to think about it, right? What do you look forward to when you think about a relationship? Matter of fact, what do you look forward to when you think about a woman in your life or around you, right? What's the thoughts and the ideas that you get when you think about a woman? Remember, no woman is inferior to you. Just like you once were a blank canvas, so was she. Just like you're an expression of the idea in a creator's mind, so is she. And guess what? You're telling equal stories in different ways, in different expressions, right? So you're two different expressions of one thing. It means that if you're not that thing, you're not superior. Okay? There are people who their only idea of their wives today, I'm talking about present day, there are people who their only idea of their wives is somebody who lets them walk all over her, who lets them do whatever they want to do and get absolutely away with it. And if ever she indicates that, oh, I did not appreciate the way you move, oh, he's gonna verbally brutalize her. Listen, my heart breaks, intensely about the women that I know have died as a result of men like this. but even the ones that are in situations like this. So yeah, I want you to review yourself, my man. Okay? Sister bro. I want you to review yourself and make sure you're not that guy. Make sure that your idea of a dating situation or a marital union is a partnership where two individuals that are as important as the other are coming together to make magic happen. Okay? If this is not your idea, sir, gentleman, you don't need a relationship just yet. What you need is healing. You need therapy. Okay? Come to me, I'll take you on. You need therapy. You need to heal. All right? Let's move on to number 2 category. So these are the categories of a man that believe that because he's a man, his happiness matters little. He believes that whatever lady he's with has to be happy at all costs. No, she doesn't have to be happy at all costs. Yeah. I just want to put this out there. Other people's happiness is not your responsibility. I'm talking to both men and women right now. Other people's happiness is not your responsibility. If they cannot find it in themselves to draw fulfillment out of their existence, to draw joy and peace out of themselves, you cannot give it to them. Now, don't get me wrong. It's okay to pursue the happiness of your partner. I'm a fan of that, okay? Matter of fact, let me let y'all in on a little detail I have somewhere in my journal. So I wrote some stuff like, again, we're out here to develop ourselves for our marital unions, right? So one of the things I wrote in my journal is every single day, look for new ways to make my future husband happy. It's something I have written down. So listen, okay, I'm a fan of that. But when it becomes, oh, the success and the peace in this relationship solely hangs on their happiness, you know it's not about happiness anymore. I believe in kindness. Be kind to your partner. Be kind to whoever you're dating. But if the pursuit is solely on their happiness and not on mutual connection and commitment, then you need to stop. You know why you need to stop? Because you highly likely think very lowly of yourself, and in the process of securing their happiness, you draw a sense of worth and value for yourself. Dude, that's a problem. You've got to have a sense of value and worth in yourself, for yourself, by yourself, so that every other thing you do flows out of that place. Again, this is my word. So I've seen different shades of this expression, right? There are men who literally lose their minds. They are thrown off balance. Their day goes all the way down because the lady they're with is not answering. They ask what's going on. She's saying, I'm good. But they're clear she's not good. So she's punishing them with a silent treatment. So they're trying to do everything to secure her happiness because once she's happy again, the relationship is good. No, baby. Ain't nobody got time for that. That's too much pressure to be under in the name of, a relationship. Remember, two people of equal importance coming together to make magic happen. So if it looks like one party is the extremely important person in this relationship, listen, she ain't the one. She's just not the one. I'm sorry, bro. Take the L and leave. But before you take the L, I'll give you more L's to take. Now, there are also guys who rally around ladies' happinesses like this. And one thing I found out is that they dread rejection. They don't think very highly of themselves. So they do everything possible to not get rejected. But the other truth at the back of that is the reason they dread rejection so much is because they reject themselves ever so often. So they seek acceptance elsewhere. They hope this other person does not reject them. I don't know if you've ever met guys like that who they drop hints for days. Listen, they're gonna drop hints every single day of the week that they like you. But the one thing they'll never say is, I like you. Why? They dread rejection because God forbid you don't like them back. Their world will crash. Hello, sir? It's not because she rejected you. It's because you reject yourself and you want somebody else to accept you. But the truth is that you cannot expect from somebody else something you couldn't even give yourself. Boy, the reason you're out here begging to be accepted is because you don't accept yourself. If you muster up enough courage and accept yourself and develop a sense of worth and value for yourself, yeah, maybe then they might just accept you. Maybe then you might have enough confidence to approach a woman because you would understand that you've put in enough work to develop yourself as an individual that if they let you go, it wasn't your loss. Bro, listen to me, right? Sister, bro, okay? If you're in a relationship right now and the only time you ever feel valued or wanted is when you make her happy, she's not the one. I'm sorry. And guess what? You're also not the one. You got to go fix yourself. Because for you to stay in a situation where you know that you're being undervalued until you meet a condition, bro, it means you don't have enough value for yourself. You got to go in the house and build yourself up and come back out and get you a lady who understands what value a man holds and should hold in her life. That's what you need. Get out of there. Because the truth is, the only reason you're only wanted and loved right after you make this lady happy is because you're a means for her to sustain her relationship with her bucket list. Don't play like that, bro. Move up. The second men in this category, the men who believe that if I'm with a lady, I should do everything at all costs to make her happy. Life is not about her happiness. You better don't start while you can't finish. Okay? Because you live in a constant cycle of wanting to make her happy. And what I've seen in situations like this is that these ladies never feel responsible for your happiness right back. Bro, listen, if you're in that situation, you can attest to this. They never feel responsible for your happiness. You want to buy them the world for their birthday, for Valentine's Day, and when it's your birthday, they write you a letter saying, oh, I couldn't give you nothing, you have everything, and the only thing I knew you needed was me, so, I'm your best gift. I'm like, shut up. Get in some men's store and pick something at least. And the truth about men like this is that they're not leaders. They can't lead nothing because they're always, in the background. They're cowards, to a certain capacity, always trying to test the waters. They never spearhead anything. They need a light to go. No. If you're going to do anything, always take the grand gesture. Yeah. If you want to ask her out, do it well. And if you get rejected, at least you did something well. And guess what? There's enough ladies out there. Okay? You're not a man because women have to be happy. You're just as important as a lady out there. And for the third category, these are my favorite men. Pretty simple, right? They've worked on themselves all their lives. They've done what is necessary. They're growing older and they feel, oh, I like that girl. Okay, I value her. I love to, spend the rest of my life with her and build a family with her. That's simply it. They move for it. They go for it. This person likes them back because they probably have, equal energy. They come on strong. They say what they need. They're straightforward. They're not dropping hints. Basically a man that moves like he knows what he wants. So these are very, very simple men. They know what they seek and they go after it. And they don't see women as commodities. So let's talk about how to treat a lady you're dating as a man. I know somebody has gone, oh yeah, we should treat them like gentlemen. Yeah, but that'll come later. I have things planned. How do you treat a lady you're dating as a man or you're married to? Remember, this applies to both because dating is kind of like a playing field for marriage, but it doesn't hold the full extent to, the essence that is contained in marriage. So yes, I'm going to be, using dating and marriage interchangeably. How to treat a lady you're dating as a man. You should treat a lady you're dating as a man like you would treat your sister. Yeah, some men are like cringe. I'm not doing that. You are gonna do it, sir. If there are things you would not do to your sister, don't do it to that lady. If there are things you won't do with your sister, don't do it with that lady. If there are things you would not do for your sister, don't do it with that lady. And somebody could go, what do you mean? It's not the same quality of relationship. Don't worry. When I get into it, you'll review that statement. I'm gonna open this one up by saying this. So I've spoken to men who lost a relationship, a dating relationship. They mourned it. And what I was hearing in their mourning of this relationship is after everything I did for her, after what I got her, after where I took her, after the plane tickets, after relocating her, after getting her house or car, after changing her family, after upgrading them, after doing this, that, and the other one, she does this to me. And As much as it sounded like they were mourning the loss of a relationship, all I heard was a man who was regretful about the investment he had made in a lady, which he would not ordinarily do. But he only did it because it was supposed to be a romantic affiliation. So he painted a version of himself that was not true to maintain or sustain this relationship. So the truth is, he was regretful because it wasn't who he was. All those expenditures, no, he wouldn't do that. And you know how I know he wouldn't do that? Because I talked to his sister and she thinks he's the most cold-blooded person on the planet. Whereas the girlfriend says he's very generous and caring. And I'm like, then maybe it's not about you, sir. Maybe it's about the people in the context. And I want to put this out there for a lady. I know this is for the man, but if you're dating a man and he buys you expensive things and you've seen the situation of his family, and he has a sister or sisters that he hasn't done nearly half of what he has done for you for them, that's a red flag. You know why? Because as soon as he believes he has caught you, again, when he marries you, you're going to be relegated to the equal playing field. The way he has treated his sister, he's going to stop treating you like that. If he doesn't have value for his sister, he's going to lose value for you as soon as he believes he has gotten you. So don't think you're his world because he's splurging. No. And for the men, if you won't spend on your sister and your girlfriends qualify you as being generous, maybe you're not generous. Maybe you're doing that for that lady. It's okay to be kind. I'm not saying don't spend or show some care and love to whoever you're in a dating relationship with. I'm a fan of that. Do that. But if somebody who has spent a larger part of their existence growing up with you has a different testimony about who you are in comparison to a girl you just met, then maybe you know who you're showing this girl. Maybe it's a facade. Maybe it's an investment that you're expecting ROI out of. Because that guy that was crying about everything he did for this lady was only crying because his investment did not yield the expected results. So you might want to take a step back before splurging on some girl you just met to impress her. Because guys, listen, I feel like our relationships with people just have a way of exposing who we are at our core. You know, when you stay with somebody long enough, or when you relate with people long enough, you just can't help but expose who you are at the core of your being. So you want to know a man? Reach out to his family. And you know, I don't know who has ever been in a family gathering with maybe your ex or somebody you used to date, and they started telling some jokes of, oh my God, do you remember that day you got pissed and you broke the bottle? And I'm like, bruh, you broke what? You didn't. No, bye. Bye bye. We ain't doing that. If you pay attention and read between the lines, you're going to see who they truly are because family knows best. Go to those who have been with them the longest, those who seemingly don't have anything to offer them. Yeah, that's where you know if they're kind or not. But baby, you have something to give him for sure. So he's going to spend as much money. He could even take a loan to impress you. You don't want to be fooled by that. And sir, if you're that kind of guy, I'm sorry. I have no words to qualify how irresponsible and ingenuine you are. How much authenticity you must lack to commit yourself to merely impressing a lady when you have work to do on yourself. If you're not a kind person, you won't start being a kind person to a lady you're in a relationship with. No, you can't hold it for too long because who you are, the core of your being, when you guys stay long enough with each other, is going to start showing up. So work on yourself, sir. If you won't treat your sister that way, actually, maybe that should be the benchmark for measuring your motives and authenticity with the person you're dating. So if you really value women, then you must have pulled this off with your sister. If you haven't, side-eye. Now, the next level of dealing with the person you're dating as your sister is in what we call the romantic, or do I say the sexual tension. You know how when you meet a lady, you undress her, you're disgusting for that. You wouldn't do that to your sister. When you look at your sister, the first thing you think is not, damn, when will I get a piece of that? So it's very low of you to think of somebody else's sister, another lady, somebody else's daughter, regardless of what she holds in promise for your future. If you're in a dating relationship, remember, a marital commitment and a dating relationship are two relationships of different capacities. There are entitlements that are in one that is not in the other, okay? So remember, I said, dwell with the person you're in a dating relationship with like you would dwell with your sister, because there's a lot of disrespect that has been communicated over recent times in the name of romance and romanticizing your relationship with a person. You see a girl, you're dating her, but really you've undressed her 1,000 times in your mind and you always move towards that direction. Will you do that with your sister? No, then don't do it with this lady. Do you know why? Because marriage requires a certain level of respect for that person. If you lose your respect for that person in the dating phase, they will soon become just another lady when you marry them. You will not suddenly manufacture respect when you marry them. But when you handle yourselves with respect and some class and some boundaries while you're in your dating relationship, you look forward to them in your marital union with some respect. You see them as some classy person, not some used up individual that you just pitted and married. If you won't push your sister to an extent where she feels helpless than to have sex with you, don't do that. We want to talk all year long about how, women feel unsafe around men, but it's the men. A lady, although seems safe around you, what's in your mind about her is just another thing to knock up. That's unsafe. That's not true about a gentleman. No. Matter of fact, I'm blessed to know really amazing people as well. There are people who have been offered on a platter. Like, we're dating, I'm all yours. And it's like, no, you're too valuable for me, right? To reduce you to somebody I'm having sex with because we're dating. I want to go the mile and get to actually know you and like you and value you and look forward to you in that respect. I say this because remember, it's the little things that add up and suddenly you become a predator. So in case you're one of the people that thought, oh no, I can't see my girlfriend as my sister, listen, that's where respect is built, by the way, because you value your sister. You see some of y'all go out with ladies and they're dressed half naked. I promise you, you will not feel comfortable when your sister's boobs is hanging all out. But now you're not holding the girl you're dating to the same standard because you have ulterior motives. You don't want to have to tell her to cover up because the day you would undress her, you would not want any resistance. That's literally hypocritical. You wouldn't want any guy, touching up on your sister and stuff. Even when they're in a legit relationship, your wish for her is that she's respected. So pay the same forward. I promise you, forever is long enough to have all the sex in the world. Forever is long enough to practice all the hand motions in the world. Yeah, but I've noticed something about preserving romance when there is class, when there is respect. It feels expensive, it feels golden, and you look forward to the days where you can honorably have her as your wife. All to yourself, by the way, because I'm a fan of that, okay? Also, for the people who believe that the way to treat a lady you're with is like a true gentleman, well, the definition of a gentleman is not somebody who's dating. The definition of a gentleman is a man who is properly behaved with everyone. Yeah. So you see the sister theory? It checks out. So a true gentleman is a man that everybody around him can vouch for as being a gentleman. So dude, I'm telling you, if everybody around you cannot confidently say, oh, that's who Charles is, yeah, then you're not a gentleman. I don't care what lady you meet tomorrow, a queen, a princess, or even the queen of heaven. I don't care. If everybody around you, remember, a gentleman is somebody who behaves politely and properly with everybody. If you're rough with some and nice to me, we need to talk about the rough. What's going on here? And God forbid that you're rough with the people who have known you most of your life. I gotta check out, because you're not a true gentleman. You act gentlemanly, but you're not it. Now let me get into the role you should play as a man in a dating relationship. Or do I say as the man in the relationship? So the man should protect, provide, lead, love, and maintain boundaries. Yeah, let me explain all of that. Number one, protect. This is a very important part of this, episode for me. Because when we talk about protection, the first thing that comes to a man's mind is, oh yeah, like I'm going to protect her from every other person, any, predator of a human, anything that just challenges her. I'm going to be there. I'm going to stand up for her. I'm going to fight for her, against her ex, against her baby daddies, all of that stuff. Good for you. Good for you. Okay. But guess what? You missed one person you need to protect her from, and that's yourself. Yeah. You got to protect her from yourself too. There are going to be moments where you would want to take it out on her. There are going to be moments where you might lose your cool. There are going to be moments where you're utterly displeased and irritated. The protection law still stands. Yeah, there are things you might want to say. You might want to verbally brutalize her, because recently the improvisation of physical abuse is now verbal abuse, right? So you might want to verbally tear her to pieces, and you must realize, because I am the man in this relationship, I must protect this woman. So yeah, as much as you want to protect her from every external thing, you must also protect her from yourself. When you are going to be unsafe to her or for her, you remind yourself, because I am the one dating her, she will not be hurt, not even by me. You know what I've seen a lot of times for people's explanations of protection is, all other threats are not acceptable until it's from them. Then it becomes acceptable. Then it becomes justifiable. No, a threat is a threat. Hurtful situation, hurtful language, hurtful behavior is hurtful behavior, regardless of who it's coming from. So as the man in that relationship, you got to protect. And listen, even her, there are times you're going to need to protect her from her. Some ladies are going to wake up one day and start moving risky. And those are the days you're going to need to call her to order, that the way you are moving, you're going to put yourself in harm's way. You're going to put your reputation in harm's way. You're going to put your health in harm's way. You're going to put your mind in harm's way. So guess what I'm here for? I'm here to protect you. You're going to have to be able to spot all of that and stand your ground as protector. I hope that helps. Number 2, provide. Yes, as the man in the relationship, you would provide. And I believe we've touched a little bit on provision in, the previous segment I just came out of. For provision, I want to make this clear to everybody, every single man listening to me. If you're in a dating relationship with a woman, you do not suddenly take on all of her financial responsibilities, because the question is, how was she putting up with life before she met you? If the moment you ask a girl out, her rent expires, her phone goes bad, she suddenly lacks groceries in the house, she has no transportation fare to go anywhere in the world, you might want to second guess that one. Now, I'm all for kindness, okay? So when I talk about provision, I want to break it down as tiny as possible. It is not your responsibility to take on a lady's financial responsibility because you're in a dating relationship with her, okay? Don't take on undue responsibilities. Never do it. And of course, don't expect undue entitlements, because she's not your wife yet. They don't know where to draw the line. All of these girls' financial responsibilities become theirs. There's even ladies who go out with their man with 3 of their friends. And I'm like, boy, what you still doing with that girl? Send her away. Why would you come to a date with me with 3 of your friends? Like, we're dating. I'm not new. You're not like unsure about who I am. And I have to feed your girls every day I hang out with you? Go bye. So for providing, I want to put this in context. It applies to kindness. If you claim you're in love with this person, the least you should do is show kindness to them. And you can show that in your time, in your resources, in materials, and all of that stuff. But yeah, it's kindness. And I want to add to that. Kindness is only at the discretion of the one that is showing it. If a girl has to make requests on how kind you can be or should be, now brother, that ain't providing no more. She's putting undue responsibilities on you. Okay? Kindness is completely at your discretion. You go out there, you see a nice purse, you're like, oh, this reminds me of my girl. I'm gonna buy that for her. Fine. That's what providing looks like in a relationship, a dating relationship. For a marital context, that girl's your responsibility as far as it goes financially, okay? Because you guys are one now. And I'm going to get in how the ladies can play a part in that as well in the next episode, which is going to be solely for women, right? So yes, when I talk about providing, I'm talking kindness, investing your time, your resources, materials, just to show kindness and love to this person you care about. Don't inherit all of their bills in the name of dating them. You can send messages, flowers, cards, cash, trips, just at your discretion. I hope that makes sense to my men here. At your discretion, no pressure whatsoever. You're doing this because you like her. You're doing this because you can do it for your sister. If you're in a dating relationship, you can send kind gestures every other day, but at your discretion. There's no pressure on you. There's no quota you're required to deliver on. Yep. So that's that about providing. Because remember, dating is a bit of a playing field for what marriage will look like. So if you can't take some responsibilities on yourself to show kindness to this person, then you might not be kind to them in the marriage, with your resources, of course. So yes, sometimes it's you putting your resume out there that I value you, and people I value, I go all out for them. I care for them. I think about them through my day. When I see stuff that makes me remember them, I get it for them. You're just pitching yourself for the marriage relationship. Okay? So yeah, that's that about providing. Number 3 is to lead. A man in a dating relationship should be a leader. Again, you're auditioning for the marriage relationship, so you must be a leader. That's who a husband is, a leader, right? And what does leading look like? Taking inventory, okay? Spearheading things, okay? Being proactive, being intentional. There are men who actually, they do things if they don't say them. Matter of fact, when they say it, it's kind of like they vow to never do what they say. That's not a leader. Yeah, nobody's motivated to follow somebody like that. If you ever make promises and you never make good on them, that ain't a leader. You spearhead important conversations. Matter of fact, you shouldn't be the one asking them how many lingeries they got and the colors. You should be the one leading the strong and deep and meaningful conversations in your dating phase. That's a leader, okay? You should hold them accountable. That's the lady now. And also embody accountability to them. That's a leader. There are men that never do anything until they're told to do it. That's irritating. A man in a dating relationship must lead. Sometimes you know what your girl needs to take her career to the next step. You make reservations for it. Maybe be it a seminar. You send her a flyer. I think you should be here. It'll really benefit, the next level of your career. It could be an Instagram reel that helps better our business. You send it to her. Okay? That's a leader, proactive. You're always ahead, always moving ahead for the success and the health of this relationship. That's one of the roles of a man. You lead. You don't say rubbish all the time. You move like somebody that can be followed. You don't walk on eggshells around everything. You're not evasive. You don't run away from confrontation. Matter of fact, you create a safe space where you can actually hash things out, where you have important conversations, express how you feel, and express your expectation to them. Also, part of leadership is modeling your expectation. There are men who hold their women to standards they don't even meet themselves. Yeah, that's not a leader, okay? Remember, you're auditioning for marriage. You want to do it well. You want to start being a husband. You want to start thinking like one. You want to start moving like one. One of the most beautiful things is to be a guy in a dating relationship that the woman you're with looks forward to speaking with because you're so insightful. You inspire her. You're always up to date on, the things that matter in the world. You have meaningful conversations. You make her want to be better, do better, and all of those stuff. Those are some beautiful traits to have as a man. And that's the traits of a leader. You inspire those that you walk with. That's what leadership in dating or marriage looks like. Be that guy. Be the proactive guy. When somebody brings something to you that you didn't do well, you deflect. You make it about every other thing except what they're talking about. That ain't a leader. And of course, if a lady's hearing me, avoid him because he's going to be a terrible husband if he doesn't work on that. And the next one is love. Remember, in the last episode, I talked about what love really is. Your role as a man is to love the woman. And in this case, love is simply paying attention enough to this woman to value her for who she really is, okay? And reminding yourself what valuable person she is, then relating with her from that standpoint, okay? So any day you feel rusty and you're going to lose your mind, you look at her and you go, you're lucky I like you. You're lucky you're a great person. You're lucky you're a kind person. You might say all the you're luckies, but you're really admitting that, yeah, they're a great one. So I am dealing with you from that standpoint. Love is not hard, except you're with a person who you definitely, definitely, definitely don't see as a valuable person. That's when you struggle to love them because you just can't get past the fact that they're the bottom of the barrel. So if you're with that person, let them go. You will never really love them. You will only use them either to make yourself feel good about yourself. So, yes, that's the role of love. Reminding yourself what an amazing person you got, and nothing is worth devaluing them for. Okay? That's love. That is love. And the final one on this list is boundaries. My favorite. When people talk about boundaries, really what they're talking about is things to protect me. They don't understand that you can set boundaries against yourself on behalf of people who don't have them. Yeah, that's part of what boundaries entail. So if your idea of boundaries as a man is, oh, how to make this lady respect me, how to never have a downtime around her so she doesn't see me in a bad state and starts speaking to me anyhow, listen, you must understand as well that on the days where she's not her best self around you and there might be a need for you to disrespect her, you must set those boundaries in her favor to shield her in. That's the thing about boundaries, baby. And sometimes you'll have to set boundaries even when, the outcome of a lack of boundaries caters to you. The truth is, when you set boundaries in their favor, their respect for you increases because it's almost like a shock that even when I didn't think much of myself, he thought a lot about me. So you earn trust, you earn respect, you're held in high esteem, and many other benefits that come with it. So momentarily, he might not cater to you, in a pleasant way, but in the long haul, listen, it's gonna tell in your dynamic with that person. Okay? So guys, there's a lot more to touch on, but yeah, I might have to wrap it up here because I'm trying my very best to keep everything under 30 minutes. So yes, I hope I've been able to help my man. Okay? Please note some things in this, see if it applies to you, and see if it's something you need to fix or something you need to, go harder on and all of that stuff. But until the next episode, I'm Eugenator and I love y'all. I'll see you in the next episode, ladies.